What does it mean to be engaged in today's workplace? How do we inspire, inform, and connect a working community? How do we build a culture of irreplaceability, trust, and listening to keep people on board and rowing together? Welcome to Post-COVID Leadership Advice. This series is all about building a workplace culture where people feel heard, supported, informed, and connected. This is a roadmap for leaders at any level, at any organization.
High visibility leaders. So often our top leaders, CEOs, C-suite, high-level managers, VPs, they live in this other planet. They work in the same company, they all have the same goals and visions, they work very, very hard, but you never seem to see them. You don't run into them in the elevators, you don't find them in the cafes, they seem to be invisible. This is about how leaders can increase their visibility, their presence, and their interaction, and be more with the people in the company that they are running. Let's take a chair. The chair you see in front of you is a solid, real thing. We can put our weight on it, we trust it, we can wiggle around, we can stub our toe on it. But like most things in the world, a chair is mostly empty space, held together by a whole lot of energy. And a company is a lot like this. Mostly empty space, its culture and its purpose exist between the ears of the people who work there. We humans believe in the things we see. We believe in the chair because we see the chair, and the same goes for our leaders. So our reality is patched together by the things we see, we hear, we read, and our leaders, if they are reaching us, they are present to us. How often do you try to get an appointment with a top-level manager and their agendas are so full you can't even get a knife blade between them? They go from packed, jammed agendas all day long straight to board meetings in the evening, events over the weekend. They literally are not seen anywhere. There are 5 easy ways to increase your visibility as a leader, especially in the time when not everybody is going to be physically in the office. So the first step is walk the halls. Just walk. Instead of going from the garage to the elevator right up into your top suite, spend about 30 minutes a day walking through the places where there are high traffic areas. And this could be the way to the caffeine, the canteen and the caffeine. It could be hanging around the lobby for a little while, getting to know the people who work there, and just chatting. And a lot of people say, well, what do I say? Well, start with hello. What's your name? If you don't know the person, what do you do? What do you like about the job? What don't you like? And then you can move on to the tougher things like, hey, there's a town hall coming up. What do you think we should talk about? What are your ideas? What do you think is wrong here? What do you think we should be discussing? So those are the harder questions, of course, but after a while, they come rather naturally. And then when you are interacting with people, it's important to also listen. Not just listen to respond, but actually physically be present with a person, take on what they are saying, and thank them for their ideas. Even if the idea is bad, it doesn't really matter. The point is you collect the data, you take it on board, and make sure that people see that you're doing this. So the best way to go through a high traffic area, when you're seeing other people around, when you see other people standing still with a bit of time on their hands, they can also see that you are interacting, they see that you are open for business, and maybe they didn't talk to you today, but they might do so tomorrow. Tip number 2, be present during meetings. And being present does not mean necessarily being there in body only. That means being 100% engaged and focused with your mind, your heart, and your body. Not texting, not answering emails because you're very, very important. Of course, you're very important. You're extremely important. But it's also important to be there for the meeting. We tell our kids when it's time to go have dinner that their phones are put away. You have phone hotels at school. I think the same thing could go for meetings too. You put your phone down. You are there, you lean in, you are listening to what's going on. You're not worried about all the meetings. Because, as we know, as we try to multitask, we become dumber. So don't even try, because we want to bring our full brains to everything. So try to put the phone away, put the laptop away. Don't jump in and make that last minute shift to your agenda, that can be done later. And part of this can be helped by making the meetings shorter. So 45-minute meetings instead of 1 hour will give you that time to batch check the emails right after the last one, before the next one. You give yourself that built-in time, and the benefit of that is people become more efficient. If they know they only have 45 minutes, they're not going to go blah, 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 blah. They're going to get to the point, and it'll be nice and sweet. Tip number 3, engage digitally. That means jump into the stream. Most companies have a river of social media going on, people posting, people proud, people happy, people explaining what they're doing, new ideas, thought leadership. Get into the mix. Every high-level leader will have their own frequency that feels good to them, whether they are publishing one thought leadership article per month, one post per week, one video per day, depends what your comfort level is. But everybody has that certain tendency that they have. So you get into the flow by posting your own material. You get into the flow by commenting on the teams and the successes that other people have had, and sharing your thoughts. Putting a little thumbs up or a little heart, that never hurts. But scheduling about 15 minutes a day to go in and add your 2 cents makes you there for the people who are not physically present and for the people who don't run into you in physical meetings. Number 4, delegate high-profile tasks. So the good leaders know that they can't do everything by themselves, and the high-visibility leaders that they don't want to. You want to be able to delegate the tasks that are not load-bearing, the things that don't require your brain, but are very high-profile nonetheless. For instance, being the MC at a town hall. Introducing the quarterly numbers. Anybody can read numbers off a PowerPoint. You don't have to be a super, duper, duper top level leader to read numbers off a PowerPoint. And the engagement effects that you get from letting lower level people do this is enormous. So there are other things that lower level people can do that you don't have to. You can also be the one to introduce clients to a tour of your facility. That doesn't have to be you. That's a high level role that somebody at a lower level can do. And having this as a regular way will give you more time for your own work, which is very important. And it will give the person visibility who is at these lower levels, and that is fattening that pipeline too. This person might have done it a few times, then they'll be ready to train others to do the same. So even that will no longer be your responsibility. Number 5, an open mic, an open Q&A. These are large town hall style sessions where people are just present together and they can ask the leader anything. This is rather scary to a lot of leaders because you don't know what people are going to say, and that's the point. Nobody knows what is going to be said. And there doesn't have to be an answer to every question. And there also doesn't have to be a fix for every problem. The point is just to listen and to nod and say thank you, and to maybe give your own advice if asked. But these open mic sessions are there to just be together, talk about the things that are on people's mind, have those debates. How many days a week in the office? How much time should be spent every day at work? How many social events are too much? All these kinds of things require input from everybody, and these kinds of large sessions, they're very good for the data that they collect, but they are also very, very good optics. It shows the culture. You have a couple of those postings on your Life At feed, your employer marketing feed, and they speak for themselves. This is a culture that values the voices of the small, and there's no better way than to show it. So decisions on high levels have a huge impact on everybody, and the more transparent that these decisions are made, the better. This is a way to project outwards that it is basically a democratic institution, even though we all know that it's not. Decisions are made by top-level leaders, then that's it. But that everybody does have the opportunity to get their say.
Thank you for being a part of this episode. Subscribe, follow, so you never have to miss another one. These ideas are based on the Comic Books for Executive series. Go to